Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first session for the day. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for everybody to join in, and we'll start then. Thank you. Okay, so I think this is a good time to start. Um, Good morning, everyone. My name is Raj Vaishnav, and I'll be your host for today. Our guest speaker today is Dharmaraja. He has extensive experience in architecting and solutioning the J2EE stack of the Chainsys platform. As a product architect for DataZense, he was responsible in designing and development of the product. Please give a warm welcome to Dharmaraj. If you have any questions, please keep them to the end. We will have a question and session towards the end where they will be answered. Dharma, you can take over.
Okay. Thanks for the introduction, Raj. Um, Good morning, everyone. I'm here today to present you about the features and key takeaways of DataZense for cataloging and analysis. So the agenda here is like we are going to talk about the data catalog and data analytics part. And we are going to talk about the problems and challenges that what we face right now in an organization, and features of data catalog and analytics. And we would like to show you a small demo use case of data catalog, which I'm going to run through in the demo session. And the key takeaways from the catalogs, from the DataZense as a whole. And there will be a short demo session for you to have a feel on the product. So this is going to be agenda for the day. So let me go ahead with what is DataZense, about DataZense. So what is that? So I can say it's an end-to-end analytics platform that integrates your company's data and secures it. But like it's an end-to-end platform stack about data. So what do you need? Why do you need data catalog? It's like if you want to look into the data, see if you want a data from your organization and you would like to know about the details of the data catalog is going to be very useful for you. And what else is available is like we have a pre-built dashboards on analytics and visualization. So any output, it is ready to be like a general report. It's like a general report format, or it can be in the form of an visualization dashboards. So both the features are available in our product. And we do have a small ML engine, and where we do have the learning part, like we do so supervised and unsupervised learning, and we have built in auto ML as well. So it's a mid-range machine learning engine that we have it in our product. And the product is ready to connect to more than 9,000 enterprise applications. So we have connectors. So we use the connector feature which is available in DataSat. So we use that, and we try to connect with the data sources, and we will try to do a profiling, or we will try to build any kind of analytics over it. It's through only the connectors. And the main thing is like the data lineage and the entity relationship for all data elements, because unless you know the relation between the data or the relation between the data between two systems, so that is not going to be useful, because if there is a data which has moved from one system to another system, we need to know that. Or if we need know the details of the data which has moved within the system from one table to another table, those things are captured in the data cataloging, captured by the data cataloging engine, and which is going to be very useful for you for understanding the path of the data, from where it has come from and where it has gone to. And the thing is like security. Regarding the security aspects, we have implemented GDPR, CCPA, and some of the local compliance guidelines into the cataloging part itself, with which you can scan for the sensitive data, and you can take any actions on those sensitive data. With regard to the actions, we have a process called remediation. So what does the remediation do is like, it is going to scramble your data. If needed, it can scramble your data, or you can mask it. It's up to the user. So you can do a scrambling process, masking process of the PI data and other sensitive data, whichever you want to do it, you can do. So this process, we call it as a remediation process. And finally, data governance. So any data which has to be secured and which has to be shown to the concerned persons. So it's not going to be public, and it's not going to be for all the users in an organization to look into all the data in the system. So it has a built-in data governance. This is what about a general brief description of the DataZense product. So now coming on to the problems and challenges with the organization faces. Like, so you don't know about the data. What is the data is? It's yeah, if it has a zero visibility. For example, if you have a system and you don't know anything about the data, which is going to be an old system, you don't know anything about the data. So there is no visibility on it. So this visibility can be established through the profiling. So it's the profiling, or we call it as a data discovery. So you keep on discovering, you keep on do the scanning on those data and try to read the metadata information and the owner, who is the owner of the data. And also you can provide additional informations on those data. Like you have a column, you have a table, and you want to provide additional information of a table, or you have a column, you want to provide an additional information on the column, some kind of a business description you want to provide. So those things can be done through business glossary. So this feature is also enabled in the cataloging process in the data catalog tool. And finally, the data lineage. Data lineage, as I said, is going to be the track of the path of the data from data movement, from which system it has come in and from which system it has gone. So this track from in and out of the data can be done through data lineage. And next is the understanding. So you need to understand the data. So you are able to see the data. The data is visible now, but you need to understand it. You need to understand the meaning and the context. So in which respect it is. So in which aspect it is. So all these things is all can be implemented in can be done through data cataloging, through the process of implementing the business glossary. So when you try to implement business glossary, the process of business glossary, you will have, or the user or the business user will have the better understanding. So they don't need any kind of an IT people to come and help them. So it's going to be self-explanatory. So the business glossary is going to help. The process of business glossary, which is available in data catalog, is going to help you to understand the data better. And the next thing is the access. So access is nothing but access is like you are not supposed, any user is not supposed to access any data. So that should be a restriction. So the owner has to give some kind of a privilege to any other users who can access that data. Or since you want to know about the data a little bit more, so the owner information, all these things, all the metadata related information is available in the data itself, like the definition of a table, the owner of a table, all the information on the columns is all readily available in the metadata of a table, metadata information from the table. And another main thing is, if you want to search for a data, for example, I would like to search for an employee ABC. So I would like to see where the ABC employees records are available. So I can do a kind of a global searching. It's like a Google search, something like similar to the Google search, which searches across the system. So what we do internally is like we do a process of indexing on all the data on all the systems, and we will try to gather all the data and index it. So especially we are indexing only the unique columns. So we do the process of indexing, and that indexing server helps us to facilitate the data. So for example, if I'm doing the search, the data is provided by the indexing server along with the information along with the information of the systems, in which are all the systems it is available. So it's something like a Google search. And curation. So now you have an access on the data, and you have come to know about the data, and you don't know about the accuracy. So how accurate it is, and you don't know about the cleanliness and the usage. So whether it's like this data is clear, or it is the right data which is expected by the particular field, or the usage. Are we using this particular column in any other systems or in any other business aspect, or it is an unwanted column? So all this information, it is all very easy for us to understand through the process of data cataloging. And it is like simply, it's like you have a clear insights of the data. So if you just do the process of profiling on a particular system, you get a clear insights of the data. Finally is the business impact. So generally at the end of the day, everything is going to corner on the business aspect. So what happens is like, if you're doing a manual process, if you are expending a lot of money in doing the manual process, so it's going to take a lot of time for you, and you won't be able to use the data by yourself. For example, the business user, if he wants to look into the data, he cannot understand anything. He needs the help from any other IT team, any other person from the IT team to help him about the understand the column name or understand the information pertaining to that particular table. And at the end of the day, there will be, you will not be able to solve some practical business challenges. Like if you want to do, like for example, you have acquired a company from, let us assume you have acquired a company, and you would like to know about the data in the company. So that is going to be a major challenge for you. So you have done a business, you have bought a company, but there is a major challenge in taking the data and understanding the data of that acquired company. So that those impacts can be reduced through the process of data catalog. So coming on to the next is, what happens if I have implemented data catalog in a poor way? So if my data catalog implementation has failed. So my objective is totally failing here. So what I was expecting, it's totally down. So it's done, it's failed. And the second thing is, I would like to, I would have thought of getting a lot of information from the system. So I wouldn't be able to getting that. So I would fail on that as well. And third one is like, what is your reality? So what is your reality is like, so you will be expecting these kind of operational data to be available. So you don't know what happened, what it has, and you don't know anything about the real data that is available in the system. So all these things, finally, it leads to the negative impact on the business. So it is going to keep a lot of manual effort, or it's going to keep dragging on your deliverables. So that is going to be the negative impact on the business. So next is going to be the features. It's what are the data catalog features that are available in our particular system right now is like. So as I said already, we have got our connectors, and we have almost 9,000 connectors available in DataZense, and with which we are going to try to connect it to those source systems and do the process of cataloging, or do the process of data discovery through profiling engine. So with these connectors, we are able to connect through an RDBMS system, which is going to be a straightforward system with tables and columns or something like that. And the second thing is going to be the cloud system. So the cloud system is like the Fusion, Salesforce, Snowflake. I can say Snowflake is pretty much straightforward because it's going to be a cloud system, but it is something similar to RDBMS. The same thing with Aurora as well. It's like, it's going to be a cloud system, but it is going to be something very similar like RDBMS. But the challenge is like with Oracle Fusion and Salesforce, because what we do is we try to pull in all the necessary information, all the necessary data from the cloud through DataZense, I mean through data extract, data object, and we start doing the profiling on the data object. So this is what happens in a cloud system. So unstructured data. So there are a lot of enterprises right now, they have data in an unstructured format. So like file systems, they do have it in a CSV, Excel, or they have a PDF file. The PDF file will have a type of form fields. So you have a form field in the PDF, or you will be having a kind of a tabular information in the PDF, and ORC and Parquet files. So we are able to do a process of profiling on these files as well. So it's like you try to read those files and store it in a temporary area and do the process of data discovery, and finally you throw the output to the users. So this is what is. So what happens at the time of profiling, or at the time of the process of cataloging? So there are two things that is going to happen. One is the automatic process, and another is the manual one. So what happens in the automatic process is like the metadata information is being captured. So what does the metadata contain? So the metadata contains like the information about a particular table or information about a particular column. So it's like if it is going to be in the table level, it is going to be how many columns available in the table, about the type of columns, what are the data types it has got, what is the constraint that it has been defined with this particular column, whether it is a null or not null, it is a unique column or it is a primary key column. It is going to generally pick up all the metadata information, all the definition information about a particular table or column. So we are going to store all those things we are going to read table by table and store it in our area. So it's going to be the metadata information is getting stored in our area. The second thing is about the data. So while scanning the data, so what we do is we try to scan the data, and while scanning the data, what we do is we would just check whether it is going to be a sensitive data. It's like if it is going to be an email, or even if it is going to be a name, age, or it's going to be like a telephone number, or in US it is going to be SSN number, whatever may be. So all the sensitive information are being captured. So these sensitive informations will be suggested, captured, and it will be suggested in the system. And the moderator will look into the particular system, and then he will go about particular output, and then he will go about the approving process. If he wants to do a process of approving, okay, this is a sensitive data, please go ahead, mark it as sensitive, it is getting marked. Or if he wants to do a process of remediation, he can do the process of remediation. What happens when what is the process of remediation is? You can do the process of masking, and you can do the process of scrambling. So you can scramble all those sensitive data, and you can do the masking as well. So these two processes are available in the remediation. And the third thing is the searching capability. Searching capabilities, while profiling, what we do is by default, all the unique columns are indexed. So the reason for indexing is like for the global search, to enable the global search. For example, I have 10 systems in an organization. So what I do is I do the profiling on those 10 systems, and I create a centralized repository for the searching process. So all the data in the 10 systems, it has been indexed in the searching server. So when I do a general query, what happens is I'm able to look into, I'll be able to get the details of a particular information, in which systems which are available, and how all the information, everything is available in the searching options. And then you can just, from there, you can just click and you can go to the particular profile as well. And you can have a detailed look on the system. That is also possible in data search. And finally, in the automatic process is the lineage and the canonical data model. So the process of lineage is like we try to, when we do a profile on different systems, we try to capture the lineage process. So the lineage process, what it does is it is going to give you a clear information of the source endpoint, source table column, and the source table and the source table column. And it is getting automatically mapped to the target endpoint, target column, a target table name, and target column. So there is a clear mapping that happens at the process of lineage, and that is going to give you a clear representation of the lineage flow in a very clean graphical manner, something like similar to an ER model. So this happens automatically through the process of DataZense. So coming on to the manual process, the manual process is like one is the business glossary, as I told you before. If you want to give some additional information of a particular data, for example, I would like to give an additional information for a table or for a column. So I can just go and start defining in the business glossary. The business glossary here is not going to be a static one. So it is going to be dynamic, and the user can create templates based on their requirements. So we have a mandatory steps. We have a mandatory definition in the business glossary, which we have pre-built. Over that pre-built definition, the user or the particular organization can define a template based on their vertical. So if a particular vertical, they needs to have some different kinds of informations to be captured, they can templatize that. And some other vertical, they can templatize some other set of information that they want to capture. So those things are available in the business glossary part. And finally is the data citizen. So data citizen or the governance. So the data citizen is the feature like we are allowing the users to collaborate. So we are allowing the set of users who are all given access. They can jump into the data cataloging tool, and they can just give comments on the profiled output. So they can say, for example, okay, this column is an employee name, or this column is not an employee name. This column is kind of a customer name, or whatever may be. So there will be a kind of a collaboration that is happening. It's a kind of a forum that we are providing in the data catalog tool, and the moderator can just look into the forum, and he can just advise, okay, this is not a customer column, this is going to be an employee column, and he can just endorse it as an employee name, and he can just give a final approval on that. So this is going to be like a forum where with which the users can play around with the profiled output, so they can give any kind of suggestions, and they can rate the column as well, whether it has been perfect. Okay, I'm happy with what it has done. Okay, I'm rating this as 4. I'm rating this as 3, or 100%. I'm rating this as a 5. Okay, 5-star. It is done. So all these things can be done through data citizen process. And data governance. So data governance is going to be default. So no one can access all the data. Person who is having a genuine access or genuine control to access a particular information is being provided with those set of data. So the governance is fully fledged implemented in the data catalog. So coming on to the next slide, I was talking about the data analytics. So the data analytics, what I mean to say here is like, uh, we have an analytical tool which is in the changes platform along with the data cataloging. So any output from our system, for example, the catalog output can be uh, shown as in the form of a PDF report or in the form of a dashboards. So the user can make use of both the reports. One, he can download the PDF reports, or he can just look into the dashboards, and he can export the dashboard into a PDF, and he can keep it for the future use. So both the features are available. So I was talking about the data analytics. Here, what we have implemented is like a BI system, and along with the little bit of EML predictive algorithms. So it's a small machine learning engine is attached to the data analytics engine, so which helps us in the automation process that is available in the data analytics application. So coming on to this, once again, we are making use of the same application, DataZense. So whichever connector the DataZense connects, we are able to connect it. So those endpoints, we are able to connect it. So what we do is, I have simply represented a process of EDM here. So it's kind of EDM, or the process of a kind of a big data analytics or something like that. So what we can do is, you can try to pull in all the data from the required endpoints into a data lake. And then what you can do is, you can keep it as a raw data, and then you can segregate those data, and from raw data, you can create a bronze, silver, or gold layer, whichever layer you want it, you can just segregate it. And the gold layer is going to be, it's going to contain the clean consolidated information. It's going to be a 100% denormalized table is available there. So how we are doing it is like, from the raw data, we are trying to create some set of star schemas, and we are just moving the data from the bronze layer, from the raw data to the bronze, silver, and gold. So what happens is, once I am getting onto the gold layer, I can directly query on the gold layer, and I can generate reports. So in the gold layer, I will be able to see the consolidated tables. So those consolidated tables from the those consolidated tables will be created in the analytical data mart. So from the analytical data mart, you will try, you create a visualization, or you create a view or dashboards against the analytical data mart, and you will try to represent the information, or you try to represent the data. So we support a lot of charts, like what are the charts that are available in the company. Everything is available here, like bar, pie, all those things are available here. So the process of consolidated tables, and we do have another process called calculated tables. It's like you can build in OLAP cubes as well. So you can do a process of modeling. You do the process of modeling, and you try to create OLAP cubes based on your dimensions. For example, you want to look at a customer data, or you want to look at sales data in 6 dimensions. You try to create a OLAP cube with 6 dimensions. So those cubes tables are called as the calculated tables. So generally, these calculated tables will be used only for the data which has got very huge, for the huge volume of data only. So if the data is very huge, we will be going with calculated tables, and the calculated tables will be getting refreshed. If it is needed to be refreshed, it can be configured so that it is getting refreshed day by day. That is also possible. So this is going to be basic architecture of data analytics application which we have in DataZense. And you can do the process. It's more flexible. It is loosely coupled in such a way that you can directly connect it to any of the sources. You can directly connect it to any of the sources, and you can just pull in the data for visualization. That is also possible. So it's like it's flexible in the sense like from the basic, you can keep on extending to the advanced part. Like you can create multiple layers, and you can even create cubes, and you can work on it. So it's all based on the necessity. You have to design you have to do the process of modeling, and you can try applying the analytical part. You can try applying the visualize tool on the data part. This is what is regarding with data analytics. So the demo use case which I am going to show you right now is like I'm going to do it's all pre-done. I'm just going to show the definitions, and I'm just going to show you the output. It's like what we are going to do is we are trying to pull in data from Salesforce and Aurora. The data ingestion is going to happen into Snowflake. So Snowflake has got already some set of data, and it's like we have segregated for better understanding. Like you can have incoming silver and gold layers, and then if you can do a process of data cataloging. And I can show you all the information, like I can show you the metadata information, PI, and you can search it, lineage, canonical, business glossary. I can show you all the features on this. And as a pre-demo activities, we have modeled already. We have generated some kind of a cubes, and dashboard creation is everything is done. So I can show the demo during the demo session. So what are the key takeaways? This is going to be it's a brief one. We have spoken a lot on this. Let's go what the user is going to get, the key takeaways about from DataZense. So you can do the process of profiling, and you can learn about the data and its metadata, and the detailed statistical information, the patterns, probables of elements, and the predefined custom rules. So all those informations can be obtained from the profiled output. And the quality of data will be, you will be able to understand the quality of data, and if you want whatever actions you want to take, you can take it. And talking about the relationship, so you can get the relationship. It's a linear relationship or the ER relationship, and you can, with this you can check the orphan records as well. The orphan records or the records which don't have any child records. So the metadata management. So generally the metadata management is, as I said it's going to be from the multiple sources. We are going to keep it as a central repository. It's going to be a central library of all metadata informations. So the cataloging tool stores all the metadata information from different sources into a single repository. And with this particular information, the user can build a EDM. So it's going to be the first step if you want for building an enterprise data model. This is going to be the first step. Once you're done with the process of cataloging, this is very easy for you to build an enterprise data model. And coming on to the next is like the process of tagging. We have a process called tagging. So if you want to give some kind of tags and comments, so that is going to help most. So that is going to help in the process of automations, or with the tagging informations, we will try to build some kind of intelligence to the system that is going to be very useful once the process of cataloging keeps on going. So as the day passes, with the information, that is the system reads all the information, and the intelligence is built automatically, and which is going to do a lot of automation for you while the process of data discovery or data profiling. So business glossary, it's going to be like your technical metadata into a business glossary. So as I said, the IT person who has done whatever he has done is through technical. So you want to do it, you want to convert it. If you want to make a particular business user to understand all the technical information, you go for a business glossary and give a detailed information on the technical metadata. So the thing is like he will be able to see the clear difference between the data across the enterprises, across the enterprise, by making the business and users as citizens. Because with the use of data citizens, you will be able to democratize. You can clearly understand which area is, and which area is the particular, uh, which area is dealing with which type of data. That is clearly understood with the process of data cataloging. And data lineage, so of course, we talked a lot about data lineage and data governance. So without data governance, it's not secured. It's not secured, and the data is open to all the users. So data governance, and finally the data citizens, wherein it's going to be the forum. All the users are going to jump in, and they are going to play around. And coming on to the data analytics, the key takeaways, like multi-source support. It's like we are able to, we are supporting different sources. And if any system is JDBC enabled, it is very easy for us to connect it directly to the system, and we can just start doing the kind of analytical process, pull in the data, just represent in whichever way you want it. And the templated approach is like, we have a templates for customer, supplier, and products 360 spend analytics based on the common data model. So what we do is we have created a data model, and over the data model, we have created the templates of customer 360, supplier 360, and product 360. So we will be using the data zap tool and load the data into the common data model. So it's only the process of loading the data into common data model, and rest everything is done for you. So you can simply configure, you can just configure the dashboards and load the data into the common data model, and you can start viewing. It's going to be a matter of few hours. Everything is done for you. So the templated approach is also readily available in data analytics. And we have got a powerful analytical engine which has a drill down features, and you can view the data across multiple dimensions. It's regular business intelligence fact that we have provided here. And interactive dashboards is like, you have the interacting dashboards is like you have a process of slicer. So you can do the filter on the fly. So which is going to be like, you do a filter, based on the filter, the database, the data dashboard gets refreshed automatically. It's going to be a slicer that happens in the that is provided for the user to just do a slice of dimensions. You can slice the data into multiple dimensions, and you can look into it in the dashboard itself. So if there is one change, if there is a drill down that is happening in one view, based on that particular data in that particular view, it's going to affect all the other views that are provided in the dashboard. So everything is interrelated. So that interaction is available in the dashboards. And finally, there is no programming. So you are not going to do any kind of a programming. It is going to be pretty straightforward. You just do the configuration, and then it is going to be, if you do the configuration, you start running it, it's going to be useful for you. It is, your expected output is coming out. So that's it, the key takeaways that is right now for data analytics. These are the key takeaways for data analytics. And I'll go for a demo session right now, and then we will go with the Q&A. So let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. I'll try to reshare once again with the demo. Able to see my screen? I think you should be able to see my screen now. So it's going to be the data catalog. So let me show about the process of cataloging here. So the process of cataloging starts with the data profile here. So what happens is you will be defining a profile. What is a profile is like, you will be defining a connection. So you will be linking the connection. Okay, this is the profile name, and you are linking a particular profile with a particular connection. So like here, what happens is I have created some kind of a libraries here. One is Aurora library, Snowflake library, and Salesforce library. So what happens is there is a connection definition for Amazon Aurora in the Aurora library, and there is a connection information for Snowflake and the Salesforce in the respective libraries. So we will be doing an initial sync here. So the initial sync is going to be like, it is going to test, and it is going to pick up the preliminary information about these libraries. And now, once I have done the process of profiling, I will be grouping the profiles. So what happens is, like, I have an organization with 10 systems, but I don't want to do a process of cataloging on all the 10 systems. Let me select 5 systems. So what I do is I group those 5 systems into a group profile. And so the process of lineage, or the process of any processes that happens, is going to happen. It's going to be detected within these 5 systems. So my lineage will be restricted to the 5 systems and not to the overall systems that are available in the organization. So here, this OM underscore catalog is going to be the group profile which I have defined for this particular 3 libraries. One is Snowflake, Salesforce, and Aurora. And once the process of profiling is done, what happens is, like, this is going to be the first set of output screens. So it is going to give you the information on the status. It's a success. It has completed successfully. When it has been created, and who has created this, and source type is structured. So we have got 2 types of profiling here. One is structured and is unstructured. Unstructured is the profiling that happens over the files. Structured is the profiling which happens on the RDBMS or any of the cloud applications. So some kind of a basic information we are showing it. And when I get into the profile, so by default, the first profile is selected, and I'm able to see what are the available tables that are available in that particular profile. So it's going to be like, there are almost 8 tables. So how many fields in each and every table, how many records, and what is the size of the table? All those information or preliminary informations are captured in this. Now, let me get into one particular table. What happens is, I am getting into this particular table. These are the preliminary informations of the table. So I'm getting into one particular table. Now, I will be able to get some detailed information about the table, and what column it is, is there any PI fields in it. So it's like, overview is like, I have 115 rows, 97 fields, and 88 KB of the table size is available. And the catalog, profile, all the regular informations. And I am able to see here field with values. So how many percentage of fields have values? So 19.59% of the overall table fields has got values in it. And I'm classifying the data here. So how many, how much it is, how it is classified? It's low risk fields and confidential fields. So we can do this. We can just do the process of classification. Here is like, we get into the data business glossary part, and we do the process of data classification in the business glossary area. So based on the definition in the business glossary, we are able to show, okay, these are all the risk fields, and these are all the low risk fields. So the risk fields are something like the confidential fields. And how many PII fields are identified? There are nearly about 23 fields that are available, that are identified as PII. It's not 100% matching with PI, but it's all the suspect. So the moderator is going to finalize it. And the other thing is, how many fields are registered? No, nothing is registered as of now. We have not done any kind of registration on the fields. So that is 0. It's showing as 0. So now coming on to the next is like meta lineage. So the meta lineage is nothing but there are 2 different lineages. One is based on the column name, we are detecting the lineage, and the other is based on the value. So based on the value is going to be that is going to be really a little bit critical, because the value sometimes matches, but that may not be same. The value will be matching, but the actual column is not. Actually it's not meaning that. But those kind of value lineage, the moderator has to clearly look into it and do the process of approval. So we have a process of value lineage as well. And I can show you some kind of, say, for example, I'm just clicking on the account ID. So this particular column, I can just have a look at it. Okay, how much it is. So how it has moved, how the data has been moved. So everything is available here. This is going to be the lineage aspect. So from Aurora, the account ID, you can see in which are all tables the Salesforce in the Salesforce library it has matched. You can see in the Salesforce library, it is being matching under 1, 2, 3, 5 tables. 5 tables that are matching in account ID. The account ID is getting matched in 5 tables. So it's a lineage information that we are getting it. And so this can happen if you keep on adding multiple systems. It can keep on coming like this. So you can have 2. Now I'm showing 2, 3, 4 based on the number of systems you are grouping into the profile. It's going to give you the result. And next is going to be the value lineage. So value lineage, I can show something else like I'm trying to go with SIC code here. So let me go with SIC code, but that is not approved. But let me show you what's happening in the SIC code. So with the value lineage, it is going to be something different. So it is like from the Aurora AU account, the SIC code is mapped into Snowflake OM SIC code _C. Here it is not matching the column name, whereas based on the value, it is getting matched. So you can see the clear difference here. SIC underscore code, it is going to be the column name here at Aurora, but SIC code and code _C is the column at Snowflake. But it is totally different, but the value is matching. Hence, I am getting the relationship over here. So this is the process of, this is the major difference between the meta lineage and the value lineage. So coming on to the next. So we have, as I told you, we have a process of ratings, comments, and all those things can be done in the profile level. In the it can be done in the profile level, table level, column level, in any part of the object, any objects, you can do the process of commenting and rating. So now I can look into the various fields here. So how many fields it is available. If I want to go and have a look at the details of the field, I can go and have a look at the details. It's entirely the clean information. All the informations pertaining to metadata is available in this particular tool, in this particular application. So you can just go look into it. What is the type of it? It is account name is 100% string. And what are the patterns available? These are all the different type of patterns that are available in the system. And percentage, okay, what type of data it is going to be, it's going to be a percentage or it is going to be a state of province, whatever may be. So it's a type of data. Those percentages also is getting displayed here. And you can go with statistics. So your statistics output is available. So you can look into count, type, this, that, where, whatever maybe, whether it is unique, no, null, percentage, empty, all the information, metadata information. So what is the maximum length? It is going to be 32. Okay, so the column size is something 214,748,3647, but the maximum size here is 32. Maximum length is 32 here. And it's a kind of a value. Since I am as an administrator here, for demo purpose, I'm just showing the values. So I'm just showing the values but we have just blocked it through data governance. So if I'm not a right person to look into the values, this tab is not enabled for me. And the pattern is also, it's specified here, what type of data and what is the patterns. And the data type is 100% string here. And the PI category, so it is falling under person, date, state of province, title, organization, and some kind of miscellaneous. So it is not approved. So if a moderator approves it, it is going to go with, okay, it is going to say, oh, this is a PI column. That is done. And lookup, we don't have any kind of lookups here. And tags. So as I told you, these are all the critical. The tag is a very critical information for automation process. So whatever the tagging the users are doing, the process as a part of a data citizen process, the tagging is one of the activity that is done through the data citizen process. So based on the tagging, we internally build an engine. So that is going to keep on enriching it, and that is going to help the process of automation in the future days. It's not going to happen on the day one, but it is going to take some time, and the automation is going to build. That's it. And pertaining to the comments and ratings, so now I have a comment and ratings in the column level. So I can do a comment, I can select a rating, whichever rating is needed, I can do a comment, I can save it. So this is what is based on the field name. So now coming on to the next. So we have looked into the metadata information throughout. So it's like I'm able to get a clear picture on everything here. So I'm able to get about the data flow. I'm able to get about from where the data has come in, where the data has gone out, and all the information is available. Your simple basic metadata information is available in this particular tool. You can just keep navigating and have a look at it. And now coming on to the next. So let us assume, so if you want to have a look into the unique columns, so you will be able to see the unique columns here. So any kind of PI details, these are all the PI columns. So we have brought in date also as a PI column, because if it is going to be a date of birth, that is going to be a very critical, very sensitive data. So the moderator, if it is a date of birth, he approves it. But in this case, he is not going to do any kind of approval. He is going to reject it. That's all. And what are the reference fields? So the reference fields are available here. So the primary field here, account ID. Since phone number is unique, it is detecting as primary. That's it. And what are the constants? These are all the constants. And number and date. These are all the dates. And here also regarding the meta ER and value ER, all those things is possible. So we can have like, we can go to the chart view, or we can go with value-based lineage. Anything is available. So the tabular form is showing you the value-based lineage, value-based relationship, but no relationship got approved, because we have not approved anything, so there is no relationship. So here the lineage is different, relationship is different. Relationship is between the data within the particular system, whereas lineage is relation between the data between different systems. So that is what here is. So we have a process of tagging comments in the table level as well. So all those things is available in the profiling output. We can say this is the process of data discovery also. It's a kind of profiling or data discovery. So similarly, we have the same set of activities for Salesforce and for Snowflake as well. So the same thing is possible. Okay. So now coming on to the process of data registration. So this process data registration, we call this as a business glossary here. So the process of registration can be done for a structured or unstructured. Now we are going with structured, so I'm going with the structured group profile. So here what happens is like, I can show you the set of templates here. So I'm getting into this OM_catalog, the same catalog which we were looking in before. So with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you about the different set of information that we have captured. So for example, okay, sorry. See here, I have done a process of registration at the profile level. So as I told you available, as I told you already, the process of registration is available in the profile level, group profile level, or even in the table level, column level. So the process of this process is going to give an additional information in all the levels. So this process is going to be helpful for you to learn a lot of information about this particular profile or about this particular table, column. So all these things, I can show you what's happening inside this. So I've given some kind of a description here and some kind of area of business here. So let me get into the Snowflake here. I can see like these are all the various tables that are available. So how many fields available here and how many got registered? So like 51, 37, 33, there are total fields available, and nothing got registered here. Some of one field is got registered, 2 got registered here. So let me get into this. If I get into this, this is going to be the common information, like what is the area of business. This is going to be the common template which is going to be available for any kind of vertical. But the one additional information here, these are all the additional information which is going to be customized based on the verticals. The domain, if a particular vertical needs some other kind of information, we can get it. So they can customize themselves and they can key in the information on those customized information. Then we can get all those information through a report, or they can get into the system and they can understand whatever may be it. So it's like the area of business is inventory. It's going to be the consent type is implied, or it can be an express consent. And releasability is it's sensitive or not. And it's a master data domain. It's a product master. So what does this denote? It's a product master, and some kind of an additional information like what is the friendly name, what is the area of business, what is the data type it is going to have, and if it is going to be a string, what is going to be a business description, what is going to be your business rule, or if it is going to be an integer, you will be having an additional business rule and the measure. So measure is nothing but it's a kind of a KPI. What you are going to show, all this information is available. And security enrichment, it's like, is it a protected field or it is non-protected field? If it is a protective field, it automatically comes into a it automatically comes into as a risk field. So security classification, it's unacceptable uses. All this, it's all general. You can customize these things. So this is what we call it as a product. This process of data registration, or the process of building a business glossary for a particular system. So the glossary can be it can be like say something like you can say that as a dictionary, or you can say that as a kind of a reference book, or whatever may be. There are a lot of terms here for business glossary here. We call here as data registration, and there are a lot of terms in defining all these things. And I was talking about the global search, which is going to be the critical feature. It's like for searching a data among particular systems. So what I can do is I'll just go through this data browser. So if I need to do a kind of searching, what I can do is I can do the process of searching here. So I would like to do a search on a particular employee, say. So I'm doing the process of searching here. So it is getting searched from my system here. So I'm able to see, so in which catalog it is. So in OM catalog, under OM catalog, it is available in AU Aurora inventory, and then Aurora inventory, what is the table it is? Aurora inventory is the profile, table it is AU underscore account, and it is available as a owner ID, and there is a field once the instance is formed. So let's go here and check. You can check for the values. It's all available in this. So this process, we call it as global search. It's kind of a unique search that is available. So PA category is person. So I have searched for a person, right? So the PA category is a person here. The name of the person we call it is Yugan Allaswamy. So what I did is I was just searching with the key name Yugan. Okay, once again, I'm going to go the search result and try to search with some other phone number or whatever, some other name. So what I do is I do a search here. It's like I got a name. Let me key in the name number, please. 9887. So this search happens from through the indexing server which we have built it. So currently, if you want to, this process is actually a non-mandatory process. If you want to do the process of searching, if you need the process of searching, so then you have to go with the process of indexing. So unless you do the process of indexing, you won't be able to. It is not you. You won't be able to view the records. Sorry. Okay. I'll go with. If I am entering a wrong record, so automatically what happens is it is going to show me there is no record. Okay, now I am just entering the correct number here once again. I am able to get it. So I am able to get it as home phone. In the context, I'm going to get it as. I can just search in the value here. Here I'm able to get the numbers. So whatever the numbers is available here, this is the number I was searching. Okay, this is the process we call as a global search process. So whatever may be the data, you can just do a process of indexing and try to pull it. So it is going to show you the list of systems, in which tables it is available. So all the information. So if it is residing in multiple tables, all the information on the multiple tables are displayed for you. You can go select the particular table and have a look at those, have a look at the value of in those tables. And once again, I'm reminding you here is unless you are provided with full access, you won't be able to do it, because the data governance is going to govern you. It's not going to allow you to view the data. So now coming on to the next is, let me show some points on data analytics. So for data analytics, I'm switching over to another application called our DataZense app visualize application. This is the analytical application. Let me go to the analytical application now, and I can show you on the process of the creating cubes, how we are creating the cubes, and how the how it is how the dashboards are getting generated. So all these things I can just show you here. So we have a process called data modeler here. So what I do is I click on the modeling. So I can do the process of modeling. So you can call this process as data virtualization as well. Like what happens is you can pull in data from different systems. For example, you have different systems, try to pull in all the data into a particular data lake, into a particular data lake. So from that particular data lake, you try to build a relationship. For example, I'm trying to pull 10 tables from EBS. I'm trying to pull some 10 tables from SAP or another people's or whatever may be it. I'm trying to pull those tables into my data lake. Now I will try to define a relation. I will try to define a relation based on the names. I cannot do the relation with the IDs because my IDs will fail. So I will be defining the relationship based on a string value. It can be in the name, or if it is going to be a customer related relation, so you can use the customer name directly, provided there shouldn't be any duplicate or there shouldn't be any mismatch in the spelling in the customer name or mismatch in any of the string value. So the string value has to be perfectly matching, and you can just set up a relationship. So then what happens is, since you have pulled in all the data into the raw area, you can just build the data model and you can try to generate a report from that particular model. And that report is going to you are looking the data of different systems in a single report. So this process we call it as a data virtualization. That also can be done. It's all a kind of how you are implementing it, how you are designing it, how you are modeling it. That's it. So how you are going to pull it, how you are going to model the data, and what you are going to show. So the thing is, main thing is you are going to pull only the required data, not all the data, not all the tables. You're going to pull only the required tables for a particular case. That's it. So that is one. I'll show it. We have created one purchase order model here. I'll just show this. Assuming that I have pulled in all my required tables into the data lake. That is going to be the pre-assumption here. So with this, I have modeled it. So I have just dragged and dropped whatever table that are needed, and I have modeled it. You can see this. These are all the tables that I have pulled in, and I have modeled it. So you can see the relationship, how it has been related. It's a kind of a simple drag and drop ER model. And if you want to show, if you want to look into the information on some kind of, say, for example, I would like to view the information on the relationship. You can see the relationship here. So it's all readily available. You can just do a drag and drop and you can just relate it, whether it is going to be a one-to-one relationship or one-to-many relationship, whatever, maybe you can keep on defining. So this is pretty simple. Here, what I have done is I have selected a data lake. So as a pre-assumption, I have pulled in all the necessary tables from necessary systems, from the different systems. So I have pulled in here and there from 3 different systems, pulled all the record tables into a single data lake. Now, with a common name, with the particular name or with the particular string value, I'm just relating it and I'm just generating the report. So this is how I build a model. So once after that, I have built the model. Now what happens is the drag and drop tables will be listed here, and I will be selecting the required columns from individual tables. So those processes are done here. So I can just do here and just click on a particular column, pull it over here. So these are all the different set of tables, and these are all the columns that are available. So the tick, whatever column that I have ticked, those columns are already present in my selection area. So these are all the different set of tables. So with this, what I am doing is, with this, I am trying to define a denormalized table here. So I can say this as a consolidated table or a fact table, denormalized fact table, or I can say that as a group table also. So I'm just trying to create a fact table or the consolidated table here, and from here I try to generate cubes. So from here, what I do is I try to generate cubes here. So once again, from here, what I can do is I can just add the conditions over here. So what are the conditions in case if I want to do a kind of filtration at the time of building the fact table or the consolidated table, I can add the conditions over here. So even for doing a data governance, okay, runtime data governance for particular user, if you want to do again, you can just create a condition and you can attach a condition for a particular user or for a particular user group. So that is going to give you a governance in the row level area. So those things are available here. So it's not like all the records can be viewed by all the persons over here. So for example, if I am a person who is sitting in India, if another person who is sitting in US, if he wants to see the report only on the US based records, he can just pull it. So I can look into the data based on the person, based on the business that is done only in India. So those kind of conditions, filter conditions can be applied here, and I can assign it for a particular user or a particular user group. That can be done here. And finally, what happens is if I'm doing a compile and if I do a sync here, what happens is based on my relations, based on my condition details, what happens is there is an automatic fact table generation happens in the data mart. I mean the analytical data mart. And what happens is all the data based on the conditions from the raw table area or from the bronze layer or the incoming layer, whatever layer, in whichever layer the particular data resides, we will be able to pull in. We will be able to pull in and we will be able to load it in the consolidated table. And the consolidated table is now ready to analyze. So we will be doing the process of analyzing through data analytics, that is through the visualization tool by creating a dashboards and views and dashboards. So now I have created a consolidated table here. If I want to go and create a calculated table, the calculated table is nothing but we call it as a OLAP cube. So OLAP cubes are called as the calculated tables. So what the calculated table is going to do, I have a fact table, or I have the calculated table has got the entire set of values. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split those data into multiple dimensions. So I need to create a dimension over here. So I need to create a dimension. I need to attach a KPI for it. So based on the definition of the dimension and KPIs, my cubes are generated automatically and the data is populated. I will be accessing those cubes and I will be taking the results immediately. So what happens here is the performance is very fast here. So when the data is very huge, the process of directly querying a consolidated table is going to take some time for you. But if you want to go have a look at the historical data with one day late data. So if you want to look into the data till the previous day, what you can do is you can just create a cubes during the off business time process, and that cubes will be ready for when the user comes and try to look into the dashboards. It will be immediately picking from the cube and it is going to show you. The performance is going to be very great. So, but this is only feasible for the historical data, not for live data that if you want to get and get it displayed from the live. No, that is not going to happen here. This tool is entirely different. It's only for the analytics. But you can create, but it is very flexible. You can directly do a connection on the OLTP system. It's well and good. But once again, that's going to be the performance. But that is not the process of BI here, right? BI is going to be the entire data analytics. So now I'm creating the calculated table. So I can do a kind of a calculated table here, say for example. So one is going to be the order details, so some kind of a small cube. So in this particular cubes, so these are all the columns, right? These are all the columns that we selected at the time of data modeling. And once the data model is compiled and synced, we are able to create a consolidated table. So assume that these columns are the columns from the consolidated table. From there, I am trying to pull the required data. So I'm trying to pull the required data, like these are all the different set of dimensions. I'm just trying to pull it out. And what happens is I can even provide drill down here. So for example, based on the order number, based on the warehouse, based on the order number, or based on the warehouse, based on the order date, order number. So I can keep on drilling down. So first I will go with the warehouse name, and then I will click on that. Then there will be a date, and from on clicking the date, I will be getting into the order numbers. So the three levels of drill down is possible in this particular cube. It's a very simple cube. So again, we have a process of defining conditions in the cube level as well. You can define a pre-conditions in the cube level, and once again, data governance plays a role here. You can just assign it to any user or any user groups. So I can show you a dashboard. This is the sample dashboard that we have created through data cube. So it's going to be through the sales data. So which I was showing you the model, right? From the model, this is the dashboard that we have created. So I am able to see all kind of informations here. So it's all drag and drop, no programming, no programming. It's all only configuration. Everything is built automatically, and it pops it based on your definition. It is going to show you out. So it's a kind of a general, simple learning session is enough for you to work with the with any application on the Changes platform stack. It's going to be very simple for you. So this is what I wanted you to explain today. So on the DataZense, on the cataloging, on analytics in the DataZense application, I can say the DataZense platform stack in Changes platform. So from my side, I have done with it. Any more questions from your side? We can go with the QA. I'm sorry, there are a lot of QA here.
Thank you for that, Dharma. We do have a couple of questions. So let's get to that. The first one is, can you say more about some of the roles that you mentioned, such as what is the difference between a moderator and a steward?
Okay. So it's like when you go, I cannot say like moderator and steward are both completely different. The steward is nothing but he's going to be, he knows the data very well. And the moderator is nothing but we can give him a kind of say like, for example, if you, the moderator can just monitor only on the data citizenship part. But the steward, what he can do is he can just go and he can directly approve it. He has got the full rights on approval. Whereas the moderator can give more suggestions. He can recommend. Recommendation can be done through the moderator. Any other questions?
Perfect. So the next question is, can you either say or demonstrate how businesses with existing analytical tools like Power BI, Tableau, Jupyter can tap into the Changes catalog to consume data for their data science projects or business applications?
Okay, so it's like everything is available. All the metadata are available in our repository here. So It's always better to use our tool to directly access our repository, but we do have a feature. We do have a feature of enabling access to all the enabling access of the metadata to the third-party tools as well. So we do have a kind of APIs, and those APIs are available. You can just use the REST APIs to call the information, whichever information is needed, and they can access it. So
Perfect.
it is access, but there is no kind of direct access to the metadata repository is not available here. It's through only the APIs that we are providing.
Okay. So I think that's actually a great segue into the next question, which is, can you share how Changes catalogs work with existing KPIs, AI models, etc., that a company has already built with other platforms or acquired through third parties?
Okay, so you mean to ask, can you just a little more elaborate? Can you just repeat the question, please? You want a third party?
Sure. So how the Changes catalog works with existing APIs and AI models that companies have already built with third parties or other platforms. So how
Yes.
would Changes catalog work with that?
So if they have an access, for example, if they have an access through a REST API, we will try to pull down, we will try to pull all the metadata information and all the canonical model information from the system, from any other third-party system, and we will try to convert those into our structure, and then we will try to display it. So it's only the access that we need to the system here. For example, there is one of our competitor. He has done the process of data migration or something like that. If if there is an access, if the access is being provided to the Changes platform, we will try to read it. We will try to read those information and convert it into our understanding segment, and we will try to load it in our repository, and we will try to show it.
Okay,
So
perfect.
it all depends on the model, available model. If they are allowing us to read those, we will be doing it for you.
Right, perfect. So I hope that answers your question. We have two more questions here that we can take. How does the process of data discovery happen for a cloud-based system?
Okay, and the main thing here is the cloud-based systems, we don't have a direct access to the tables or a direct access to the metadata information. So what we do is, so what are the things that has to be analyzed, or what are the objects those to be analyzed? For example, if you want to do a kind of analysis on certain objects in Salesforce, what you can do is you can pull data from those objects. You can pull all the set of entire data from those objects and load it in our repository, and we do the process of profiling on the area, the staging area in our repository, and we do the process of profiling, and then we will give the output. So here the main thing is the meta lineage is not going to work here. Here the value lineage is going to play an important role.
Okay, perfect. And one last question for this session. Can the business glossary template have vertical-based information?
Yes, yes. It is fully configurable. You can do the process of configuring. What you can do is you can just define those configurations, and then you can reuse that. For example, there will be basically there are 5 to 6 parameters that is standard for all the verticals, and underneath what we do is we just give a process. We just facilitate the user to load his own definition, so that based on his definitions, the users can enter the data, and it is going to get stored in the repository. So it's all based on the verticals. It's all based on the verticals, and nothing is static here.
Okay. And we do have one more question that has just come in. In the data world, Excel and CSV files data is typically categorized as being structured data. However, in the DataZense context, they're considered to be unstructured. Could you please elaborate on why that is?
Yes, it's a good question. So the thing is, for example, if it is going to be I'll give you a small scenario here. There was one study that has come in for us. Like in a single Excel sheet, there are multiple tables. For example, I have got one table, another table below it, another table on the side of it. So let us assume there are three small set of tables available in an Excel sheet. So it
Right.
is totally unstructured for me. So if it is going to be a single table, for example, if there is a sheet with A to Z, there is a heading over here, and there is a full, there is a data, there are say 100 or 200 rows. It's going to be a simple table. That is pretty straightforward for me, and that is going to be structured. But I have a table, some description below. One paragraph is in the Excel sheet, and another table is here to the side, and some description is here. Another table is towards the right of the other table. So there is some description. So there are some set of tables within the description. Then that is going to be a haywire for me. Correct.
Right.
So those files, I call it as unstructured. So what we do is we try to pull in only the tables. So we don't, and we gather all the text and we load it in another area. So this is going to be the textual area. So we load all the information into the metadata repository, and we just mark it as this is going to be the text area. This is going to be the tabular area. So this particular area, unstructured table, this table, what we do is we convert it into a structured area, and we do the process of profiling.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. So that's all for the questions that we have. And this session, this training, Dharma, was really wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out to provide us with this training. I'm sure the audience learned as much as I did. The next session will be at 12:30 p.m. Central Time with another hands-on training in setup migration and test automation bots for Oracle Cloud ERP applications. Until then, we have a break for lunch. So bon appetit.
Okay. Thank you so much. And you can mail me anytime. My mail ID is, I can just show you the mail ID. I'm sorry about it. One
Sure.
moment. I'll show my, you can, you can get in touch you can get in touch with me anytime, and you can mail me, and I can share the workbooks. We have got some kind of workbooks, um, which are very simple with simple use cases. It's like storyboarded with some kind of an story which is built in here, and with the story we have just created a workbook. And any information is needed, you can just mail me, and I'll share the workbooks if needed, and I can share I can just clarify any of your questions, and we can take it forward. So thank you so much for attending this session. I am very grateful to you all. Thank you so much once again. Raj, thank you for hosting this, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's break for lunch.
Yes, thank you so
See
much.
you.
Let's break for the lunch.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.